It started with a simple thought, one that nestled itself quietly, at first a faint echo, barely noticeable beneath the noise of daily harvesting, the kind of thought that hums just beneath the surface and waits for the perfect moment to rise. It was not a command, nor a strategy guide tip, nor even a well-meaning suggestion from another player. No, this thought came from somewhere deeper, from the still, quiet voice that speaks only when you begin to truly observe your surroundings. It grew louder the more I wandered through my virtual garden in Roblox. Grow a garden, the familiar paths, the soil under my feet, the soft rustle of leaves in the breeze. It all seemed to ask the same question with every step I took. As I looked around the garden, I saw the same flurry of movement, players running back and forth, some dragging wagons filled with crops, others stopping only long enough to plant and then dash off again like the wind itself was chasing them, each one locked in their own rhythm of planting, harvesting, upgrading, rushing, planting again, a cycle so tight and relentless it felt more like a machine than a garden. But underneath all that momentum, a quiet current flowed, a soft murmuring question that many ignored, a question that some whispered and others denied. It drifted between the leaves and hovered above the tilled earth. It was a question I had seen left hanging in chat windows, forgotten among quick jokes and trade offers. I had read it on message boards where new players and veterans alike debated strategies in long, tangled threads. It had no easy answer, but that only made it more haunting, more compelling. That question was this: if I had to choose between only carrots and only mushrooms, which one would truly reward me more? Which one would build my garden into an empire, not just of crops, but of meaning? Which one would stretch my time to its fullest potential? And which one would drain me slowly while giving the illusion of progress? Which one would stand beside me like a loyal friend? And which one would smile while stealing away my effort? This question sat with me longer than I expected. I carried it from plot to plot, from upgrade station to shop counter, from one virtual sunrise to the next. I began to test the question not by typing it into a forum or asking others in chat, but by living it. I became the question. I took off my usual strategy cloak and wore instead the robes of a curious wanderer. I planted only carrots for a stretch of time, watching how the garden shifted, how the pace quickened, how my fingers clicked in tune with the growing beat. It was exhilarating at first. The colors were sharp, the rewards came fast, the field filled with life and motion. I felt like a true tycoon, the ruler of my own harvest kingdom. But the pace came at a price. The longer I continued, the less joy I felt in the act itself. It became repetition, not rhythm. It became obligation, not excitement. I would stand in the middle of my farm and realize I could not remember the last thing I had planted or harvested, because it had all become one continuous loop with no room to breathe. So I stopped. I turned my attention to mushrooms. I cleared my field of orange tops and replaced them with small, quiet spores. I watched them grow at their own pace, refusing to be rushed, refusing to follow any drumbeat but their own. At first, I felt restless. I wanted to click faster to see quicker results, but the mushrooms denied me that. They asked something different. They asked for patience, for presence, for stillness. And in that stillness, something inside me changed. I began to notice the details. I had missed the textures of the soil, the patterns of the weather, the soft hum of growth beneath the surface. Mushrooms did not shout, they whispered. And in their whispers, I found clarity. Each crop seemed to speak a different language. Carrots spoke in action and hustle, in momentum. Mushrooms spoke in silence, in reflection and subtlety. One rewarded energy, the other rewarded attention. I found myself questioning not just which crop paid more, but which one paid back more to me as a player, not in coins or upgrades, but in satisfaction and calm, in the joy of simply playing. The more I lived inside this question, the more I realized it was not about I had to find out for myself, not because someone told me to, not because it was a trending question, but because the mystery of the garden itself called me to explore the truth. And like most truths, it would not be found in theories or tips, but only in experience. I cleared my field for a test, not a scientific one, but a personal one, the kind of test that only means something if you live it fully, without shortcuts, without assumptions. I stood on the edge of my garden, 2 plots open in front of me, my hands steady and my mind ready. The first patch I gave to carrots, my old companion, the one crop that almost everyone has touched in their early days of farming. The seeds went into the soil easily and they responded with life just as quickly. There was something nostalgic about them, something honest. Their color brought joy, their rhythm brought movement. I was constantly in motion, planting, watering, harvesting, and planting again. It was like dancing, but with purpose. Every second felt important. Every action felt urgent. The garden responded to my speed with growth, and I started to feel like I was in control, like I had cracked the code of endless momentum. But with that momentum came something I did not expect, a kind of fatigue that did not show up at first, but crept in slowly like a shadow at the edge of your vision. The more I planted, the more I realized that carrots required me completely. They asked For my full attention all the time, they never let me breathe, never let me rest. I became part of the process, but not in a peaceful way, more like a cog in a machine that could never stop spinning. There was no room for reflection, no space to admire the beauty of my surroundings, just the next task and the next and the next. And then I turned to mushrooms, the quiet ones, the ones that many skip because they do not shout, they simply grow. I planted them slowly, carefully. Each one settled into the soil with a quiet promise. They did not demand, they waited. And in that waiting, something remarkable happened. I began to notice the garden again, the leaves, the trees, the soft motion of clouds sliding across the sky. I had time not just in game but in thought. My fingers relaxed, my mind wandered. And when the mushrooms were ready, they felt earned, not chased, not forced. They felt like a reward from nature itself. As I alternated between carrots and mushrooms, I started to notice how differently they shaped my experience. Carrots made me feel productive, but exhausted. Mushrooms made me feel patient, but steady. Carrots gave me a sense of speed, but they took everything I had in return. Mushrooms gave me silence, but with it came calm reflection and a new kind of strategy. One began to realize that each crop was not just a plant, it was a personality. It was a teacher, a mirror, even a test. There were moments I missed the thrill of carrots, their fast results, their energetic loop. I longed for that click, click, click that made the hours fly by. But then I would return to my mushrooms and feel a kind of peace that carrots never gave me. The harvest from mushrooms felt like a story, finishing, not a task completed. It felt satisfying in a way that numbers alone could never explain. So I dug deeper, not into the soil, but into my own habits. I asked myself why I farmed, what I was looking for. Was it growth or rest? Was it efficiency or enjoyment? Was it speed or serenity? Because in grow a garden, every decision reflects something deeper. Every crop is a conversation between you and the land. And the one that pays more is not always the one that gives you coins the fastest. It might be the one that lets you play longer, play better, and feel more connected to what you are building. As my experiment stretched on, I started seeing other players around me. I watched those who only used carrots, and I saw the same exhaustion in their patterns, the endless sprint, the constant cycling, the pressure to always be active. And I watched the mushroom growers too, those who walked more slowly through their gardens, who paused to admire, who harvested in silence and moved without rush. They looked different, not better, not worse, but balanced. And I began to understand why the community never agrees on which crop is best, because the truth is it depends not on the crop, but on you. If you thrive on action and constant motion, if you find joy in the rhythm of hustle, then carrots will sing your song. But if you prefer depth over speed, if you find joy in the wait and satisfaction in the slow reveal, then mushrooms might be the silent partner you have been overlooking. And maybe, just maybe, the answer is not to pick one over the other, but to know when each one is needed. There are days when carrots give you that burst of energy to push through the ranks, to feel like a champion, to prove something to yourself. And there are days when mushrooms offer the quiet space to reset, to breathe, to remember why you started farming in the first place. So now when I walk through my garden, I do not ask which one pays more. I ask which one I need today. Do I need the wind in my hair and the speed of 1,000 clicks? Or do I need the whisper of the soil and the patience of growth? And that simple change in question has transformed the way I play, because Grow a Garden is not just a game, it is a journey. And every journey has fast roads and quiet paths, and both have value if you know how to walk them. So plant your carrots when you are ready to run, plant your mushrooms when you are ready to think, and let the garden teach you not just how to grow crops, but how to grow yourself. And in time you will learn that what pays most in Grow a Garden is not always measured in coins, but in the joy of the harvest, the rhythm of your heart, and the peaceful satisfaction that comes when you finally understand that every crop has a lesson and every choice has meaning.